The meeting's being recorded. So thank you for joining the meeting. This meeting is about the Asebu Pan African Village and all things building, to do with building and construction. My name's Rachel Okello. As many of you know, I've had the opportunity of meeting many of you, or speaking to many of you, e-meeting you, I should say, and it's been really wonderful to e-meet a lot of people. And a lot of you have had interest in what we're doing in Asebu, in the Pan African Village. I've been across now a couple of times and I've had a good opportunity to look around, see what's happening there, and also to speak to some of the people who are involved in the administration of the project and also in building and doing construction work there. One of the things that I realised was that a lot of people have had their plots, but they haven't yet built on their plots. For some reason, there's hundreds of plots which have been allocated and a few houses which have been built. So that's why I wanted to get this meeting underway and get some of the experiences of people who are involved in the Pan African Village, who have built homes and live on the Pan African Village, and also to get some of your questions answered. So we've invited on here Nelson Obed, who is an architect. He's an engineer, designer, and project manager in real estate. And he's a cost analysis and building supervisor. So he's going to take us through the architect and the building process. And we've invited Mykaal, who is a chief, a local chief. He's actually an American origin, Bahamas, and he now lives there. He's built his home and he lives on the Pan African Village. He built a lovely home. I've seen it myself. And he's going to give you an introduction to building and tell you about the ups and downs and what he's experienced, a little bit about his construction company as well, and tell us his new name, because he's been given the role of the Chief of Development in one of the local villages in the Asebu region. So he'll also come on to introduce himself. And then we've also got Barry the Builder, who is Building with Barry, that's his YouTube channel. And Mykaal's YouTube channel, in case I don't remember it to say it later, is The Travelling Israelite as well. And there's loads of good stuff on there. It's actually been a really good introduction to me myself in terms of what's happening there. So there's also Building with Barry, that's his YouTube channel. And Barry is a Jamaican, straight from Jamaica to the Asebu Pan African Village. And he is building on the village for himself and family members and setting up a construction company there as well. So this is going to be a really good session, and just to give you some more information about what's happening on the Pan African Village. So without further ado, I have my wonderful son who is fresh from the United Nations, but he has time to help me with this back office stuff, and that's really good. Okay, so the next screen then, please. Wanted to mention as well is that we do have a trip to Ghana from the 5th to the 16th of October, and I will be going along on that trip. More information on our website, which is asebupav.com/Ghana-tour. We've got a few spaces left, so if you're interested in coming along, it's a Ghana Ancestral Homeland and Investment Tour. And the idea is that we're going to see a bit about the culture, our historical culture, but also get an opportunity to look at investment in Ghana. This trip is not a tourist trip. This trip is to see whether Ghana is for you. It's to learn about our heritage and also to learn about investment opportunities, whether that's in building, agriculture, real estate. So it's going to be quite an intense trip, quite an effective trip to seeing whether Ghana is suitable for you, and whether the Asebu Pan African Village is suitable for you as well. So we're going to be having a trip to Acquah, Iburi. There's a big Jamaican community there, big Caribbean community there. Then we're going to go to Asebu and the Cape Coast area. The tourist area, the Cape Coast area is a tourist area. So we've got a few spaces left. Next slide, please. I just want to give you a bit of background about the Asebu Pan African project. So Ghana, for those of you who don't know, I'll just run through this quickly because I know we all know by now where Ghana is. But Ghana's in West Africa. It's on the coast of the Gulf of Guinea. So we're going to the Atlantic Ocean. The first bit of water is the Gulf of Guinea. and it shares a border with Togo to the east, Burkina Faso to the north, and Ivory Coast to the west. And it was historically colonized by the British and had independence in 1957 through Kwame Nkrumah. So it's got a heavy Pan-African ring to it, Ghana has, and it's a soft landing for people who want to get to know and understand Africa. It doesn't mean that you have to live in Ghana forever, but it's a soft landing to introduce you to the African continent. And we will be showing people different parts of Africa, Uganda, Togo. I'm involved with the UK delegate for Togo, bringing investment into Togo. I think Ile Agnemana is on the call now. He's from Togo. So we'll be bringing other things as well as we explore Ghana. Next slide, thank you. So Ghana's got a history of slavery, and that's what kind of brings us all back to going to Ghana, I guess, where we're really looking at the historic slave trade route. I don't know who's saying that Ghana was the third country to get independence. My understanding was it was the first. So next slide, thank you. The year of return was in 2019, and the period that we're in now is called Beyond the Return. So from 2019 to 2030, Ghana is really putting a lot of effort into bringing people home, bringing people to Ghana, to invest in Ghana, and they're seeing themselves as a gateway to the rest of Africa. And so this is a very important period. We're obviously 7 years left to the Beyond the Return period. And therefore, one of the things that I want to be doing within this time is really getting the Asebu Pan African Village up to the potential that it can be, collaborating with everybody else who's also making great efforts to do so as well. Next slide. So the whole Pan African Village was spearheaded by Chief Ugatechi Dr. Amambi VII, who's actually a professor teaching at the lecturing master's students at the University at Kumasi. And he and the elders of the Asebu region offered land to we quote, are offering land to our brothers and sisters from the diaspora to settle in Asebu. So when you go to Asebu, people really understand what we're doing there. I'm Caribbean, my parents are from Grenada. I was born in Britain, in the UK. My husband is Ugandan, so that's my connection with Africa in that sense. But I think that when you go to Asebu in particular, Ghana generally, but Asebu in particular, everybody's aware that the chief has given this land, and they are all aware of what we're doing there. So it's a really warm welcome when you go into the Asebu region. Thank you. Next slide. So we created what's called the Friends of Asebu Pan African Village. There is also the Plot Owners Association, which they are on the ground in Asebu. We are Friends of Asebu, so I'm not in the Pan African Village, I'm in the UK, but we also link with people who are in the Pan African Village, particularly Byron Crosdale, who is part of the administrative team as well. But I do also want to say, in the spirit of collaboration, that there is also the Plot Owners Association who are there on the ground. They have a website as well, and they can also help you with any questions that you have. So our overall aims as the Friends of Asebu Pan African Village is to promote the concept of relocating to Africa generally, to promote the Asebu traditional area, and to promote the free land offer in the Asebu Pan African Village. And we will promote the traditional area by encouraging development, investment in economics, in healthcare into the Asebu traditional area. We'll be setting up with the King, the King's Fund, which is a reciprocation from us to the people of Asebu. We are reciprocating to them for the generous offer that they've made to us. And within that, we will be raising funds and awareness to help them develop their area. So you'll soon be seeing a donation kitty from us, if you like, asking you to help with that as well. But that's something that we're developing with the King. So just so we all know exactly where we're talking about, Asebu is 2.5 hours from Acquah. If anybody knows the area, you head towards Yamaransa, and then you turn off right and go for 15 minutes and you'll be in Asebu. Otherwise, from Yamaransa, it's about another 15 minutes to 30 minutes or so to Cape Coast. So Asebu's in a really good area in that It is a small town itself, and the Pan African Village is just at the edge of the town. However, you can go to Cape Coast if you want to go to the bank or get some good hair products or clothes or anything like that. Then you go to Cape Coast, which is about 35 minutes away. And of course, Cape Coast has the seafront, and it has it's a very big tourist area as well, and lovely restaurants and bars there as well. So although that's not in Asebu is a town, it is right next to Cape Coast. So what we're showing you here are the allocated plots, the way that the plots are allocated. And so people ask, how does that happen? So in Asebu, once you make the payment of your fee for getting your plot, and I'll come into that in a moment, you're then allocated the next plot. So you don't necessarily get a choice of the plot that you want, because these plots are being given, they're not being sold. And therefore they will allocate a plot to you. I do recommend to people that you go to Asebu and see it first and see what plot you're going to be allocated, make sure you like it. If not, try to make them allocate you a different plot, which may be possible. But a lot of people don't do that. They just make the payment and then they get allocated any plot. So that's exactly what's going to happen. If you make your payment by online bank transfer, they will just allocate you the next available plot, because it's not a shop, if you like. It's an offering that we have been offered. So all these little red boxes are little plots of land that have been given, and you can see there are other boxes there as well. There's space for greenage, for open space. There's space for a supermarket. There's space for shops, and I think there's also space going to be allocated for a police station as well, if necessary. So you'll be able to speak to the administrators about getting allocated a plot for residential purposes, but also being allocated a plot for farming as well, if you wanted to do farming, and also for commercial reasons as well. So, you know, it's about being patient with the administrators as they sort all this out. But I know there are some people who are very keen to get some land for commercial reasons and agricultural reasons as well. So the Asebu Pan African Village land is leasehold land for 50 years. Sometimes you'll hear that, I think people say 99 years. That is going to be if you are a Ghanaian citizen, then you'll get your land for 99 years, or in some circumstances, if you are getting family land, which this isn't, if you're getting family land, then you can get it for longer. But if you want to know more about the leasehold and the land tenure, then I would recommend that you get legal advice, because I'm not trying to give legal advice here. Of course, I am a solicitor in the UK. I'm not a solicitor in Ghana, so I'm not trying to give legal advice. The size of the plots are 80 by 100, and there is an administration fee of 1,200 per plot, which is around £1,000 British pounds, so 1,200 US dollars. And that's what you will need to pay for any plot that you have allocated to you. Normally, they prefer it to be one plot per person. I know there are some people who get plots for different family members, so it'll be the 1,200 per plot. So we're going to be talking about building and construction. These are a couple of the houses which are being built on the Pan African Village at different stages. I took this picture a while back. I think one of them's got a bit further along. And I've got experience of building. Next slide. I thought I would just put my own little efforts on to show you that I build in Uganda. We built a house in Uganda, which is, we're just doing the finishing touches. So I've got some experience of building. In the next slides, we can see that I've got some experience of building, and coupled with my experience of immigration, helping people to migrate around the world, primarily to the UK, I thought I would come along, and my building that I've been doing in Uganda, that's our home there, our house there. I thought that I would come along and help in the Pan African Village efforts as well. So that's my goal, my aim, my being. The reason why I'm doing all this is because I strongly believe in what the King has done in terms of giving people land to live on. Not just about giving land and paying for land administration fees. It's about him creating a community that we can live in together. Because in this, you can see here in Uganda, we have neighbours around us, and we wouldn't be able to do things that we need to do without those neighbours. So it's not just about land. You can get land anywhere, but it's about the fact of having a community and having a paramount chief who has welcomed us officially to the Asebu area. So that's what really moved me to literally go away to Ghana to find out more about this project. I'm going to hand over now to Mykaal. Mykaal's done some building, and the reason why I asked him to come on today was because he's on the ground and he's been building there. And I thought it was really important for us to get some, some of the experiences of people who have built. So this is a house that Mykaal has built in the Pan African Village. It's a beautiful house inside and out. And I just want him to come and just talk to us a little bit about the building that he's done. And if we can just go to the next slide as well. This is also a house that he's in the process of building as well. It's a big house. It's just being built. Actually, I took this a bit earlier, but the roof is being put on the house already. So this is what he's been building. So just go back to the former slide, please. And he can just tell us a bit about this house and a bit about building. So Mykaal, over to you.
Shalom and greeting everyone. My name is Mykaal. Also, my chief name is Nana GME the First. My father, he's from Leon. I was born and raised in Miami. My father is from the Bahamas. And we moved here to Ghana, now in 2 years and 7 months. We've been here living in Ghana now. So we ended up starting a construction company. We also have an NGO as well, but we wasn't even looking to start the construction company, which I had plenty of years in when I was in the state. I retired. We came here in 2021 of January, and we just got the company started just by building our home. And people seen us on YouTube, and they asked who was building it. We let them know, and from there, that's how they asked us to, build a home, and that's how we got started. So you just seeing some of the projects that we're doing that Rachel just showed. We also our home we living in, we completed. The other home she just showed was Karen home that we completed that one, and then we're working on Tiffany home. That one is another duplex that we're also working on. That's in another location out here. That's our construction company. We've been doing it here now in Ghana like 2.5 years and stuff. Our company's still growing and stuff. We've been having people coming and going as we building, because we're working with with the locals and stuff. So as we go through with the locals, we learn who got better skills and who can be trained and stuff like that. But now the company is pretty much set, and it's moving on way smoother than it did in the beginning. So now we originally started off with the home, dealing with the blocks, building the homes with the blocks. Now we're switching over. Now the homes that we're going to get started with, we'll be switching over to doing interlocking blocks, which are much better than the regular blocks, because it helps with the as the house continue to settle with the blocks. You get those little hairline cracks. So with the interlocking blocks, you don't get that, because they're able to move as the house continue to settle. So that's another reason why we're switching over to that, and it saves on maintenance, on cost of maintenance over years and stuff.
Thank you. Right, so thank you for that overview. I'm not sure if Barry the builder's on still. Don't know if Barry.
I'm still here.
Yes, good. Right, Barry, before we go into the Q&A with you and Mykaal, can you just give us your feedback as well, your insight as well into building there?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Barry. Well, I goes by the name Barry. I'm from out of Jamaica, straight from Jamaica to Ghana. Okay, well, I'm here. I am here, 8 months now. I came here on the 7th of October, 2022. And get my plot. We got our plot, myself and my wife, Jacqueline. And coming from Jamaica through construction here in Ghana, I mean, it's a little bit different in terms of the material, the blocks that they use really, and the sand. So it's a bit challenging with the material. You have to know a proportion to mix to get a good material, good finish. All right. In terms of the workers, you will have to be on your heels because the language barrier is a big problem. You would say something to them and they say yes, yes, yes. They say yes for everything. But if you don't mind, they still do the wrong thing. So, we have to be on site and open our eyes, But otherwise, everyone is okay. My team, I have a very good team, and they are willing, they are learning, and they understand pretty much what I want. So they try their best to deliver.
Excellent, thank you. So one of the things we pick up from the builders here is that this Pan-African village is our responsibility. It's us that has to build it. The chief has done all he can do, and he's given us the land, and it's for us to come along and build. So I know definitely they're keen for people to come and join what their work that they're doing. There was a question which was to Mykaal, which is, what size is the plot of the picture we're seeing? That is from Pauline. So if you want to, this is a Q&A, so please don't put the questions in the chat because I'm not going to be able to follow them. You're going to be able to unmute and ask your question. So Pauline, if you can unmute and ask the question of which land that you're talking about, please.
Hi. Yeah, it's just the picture that is on screen at the moment.
The White House, yeah, Karen's house.
Yeah, because obviously to give us an idea of size, the plots that we would be looking at would be 80 by 100. So I was just curious as to what size of building, size of plot that building is on, so I can have an idea.
Mykaal?
Yeah, it's 80 by 100.
So it's 80 by 100. So
Okay.
it's a nice plot, isn't it?
So that's quite sizable then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Just to give you an idea, also, our house sits on a 80 by 100, and it's 2,600 square feet. And we still have plenty of room on both sides of the house to garden and to do whatever else.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you.
And Bianca, she had a question. What happens after 50 years lease is up? That was Bianca's question. Well, you will renew the lease. I mean, I've spoken to the Paramount Chief a couple of times. I've had a couple of meetings with him, and I've heard him talk anyway, and the lease will be renewed. So it's very common in Africa, actually. A chief will give land, and then obviously us and possibly this Paramount Chief won't be here in 50 years' time, but it will be for the paramountcy to renew the lease, and that happens all the time. So if you imagine, most people in Ghana are on leased property, so it will happen that your property, your land will be renewed. Now, people sometimes say, how much is that going to cost? Well, at the moment, how long is a piece of string, really? Because they're not supposed to put the fee to the same amount. It's normally supposed to be a peppercorn renewal, a peppercorn fee, which in the UK is a very small amount of money. But I'm not going to say now in 50 years' time what is going to happen, because we're not there. But normally you would be able to say that you can renew the lease, and you need to look at the terms and discuss any terms before you sign anything. And that's what you need to think of. Donna M, could you provide a little background on land clearing? Are the plots already cleared once the administrative fee is paid, or will that be our responsibility? If our responsibility, do the builders perform that task? So, Mykaal, do you want to answer that question? Or Barry can answer the question if he's on there.
Okay. Once you got your plot, you are responsible to clear your own plot.
So that's not the administration fee, basically.
No, that's not in the administration fee. The administration fee gives you a plot allocation, your indenture, and your site plan.
The fee gives you your plot allocation, your indenture, and your site plan. And then what can you do with your plot allocation, your indenture, and your site plan?
Once you have all those documents, you are free to build. In terms of registering your land, you will cadastral, and that is done by any surveyor. Well, so some surveyor do it, some don't, and that's another cost. Each surveyor have their own cost, so I can't give you a price on that one. And then you, as long as you get your cadastral with those documents, you can be able to register land.
Right, thank you. Mykaal, would you like to add that? I don't know if you've got anything to add about the price. So after they've been allocated a plot, we've ascertained that the person will be responsible to clear their own land, but how much does that cost? Because I think you do land clearing, don't you, as well?
So like Barry was saying, it all depends on who your contractor getting to help clear your land, or whoever you're getting to clear it, because each person that clears, those who operate the bulldozers, they have their own certain price. So that's what it all comes down to. And the more plots you have, the cheaper the price is. Normally, you're looking at anywhere from 1,500 CDs to 2,000 CDs for one plot.
Okay, 1,500 CDs to 2,000. What's that in dollars?
That's like about anywhere between $150 to $200.
Yes.
But I do suggest, like, say when people get their plot, if they can find other people, and if you do it as a group of people and stuff, I know he'll do a all day 8-hour clearing for 6,500 CDs. If it's like a big area and a lot of people got a couple of plots, an all day clearing will be 8 hours for 6,500 CDs. That's about like $650.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's about like $650.
And how many plots would that clear?
You can get quite a few plots cleared. Matter of fact, we know that one gentleman, he had 8 plots and it got all cleared that same day. He did the all day 6,500, and it was all 8 of his plots was cleared. So you get a lot did. That's why I say if you got a group of people, you can get a lot done.
Okay, thank you. Angie, I think you've got a question. Can you unmute and ask the question?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I was trying to find all the buttons, the mute button, the video button, whatever. But I wanted to ask Mykaal a couple of questions, please.
Yeah.
Is he there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right. I'm a bit fussy about. I've had quite a lot of experience in with construction workers with regards to building a property for myself. So I'm very fussy. I'd like to know if Mykaal's workers have credentials, how long he's been running his business, and does his business have credentials also, please. Thank you.
Okay, so this is not for, these, Mykaal and Barry have both offered to come on here today to share their experience of building. So they're not directly asking people to give them building work. They've just come on to, they've just come on to share their experience. So very good question. What people would need to do, if whoever you get to build, is you need to make your own inquiries, your own due diligence inquiries. I'm sure Mykaal would be happy to answer the question, but that's not what this is about. This is about them just sharing their experience. Yeah. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah. So Tabitha, have you got a question?
Yes, thanks. So I was wondering if after does the documents have a clause so that buyers can include what should happen after 50 years are up? Because the information I received was that it's possible to include that in there so that you know what's going to happen after that 50 years are up.
Normally, from what I've seen, actually, Barry and Mykaal can answer. Do your documents have what's going to happen after the 50 years?
All right. Though what she's talking about, it is a difference when the land is given to you and when the land has been sold to you. Yeah. Once something is given to you, it is given. It's a gift. When you buy something, you buy. So when they sell the land, you have the option to renew after 50 years. When the land is given to you, it's a present. It's a gift. It's for a lifetime. So I don't really have that.
Yeah, I think that's what I feel, and I think that's what most people feel. Really, it's about getting your head around. It's a gift, not a sale, in that sense.
Yeah, I was told from the office that, listen, this is a gift. It's a lifetime gift. Yeah, it's not a fee to renew, nothing. It's a gift. It was given to you. It wasn't sold to you. The people who bought land elsewhere, they are the one who is have to go to that thing to okay, how much will it cost me to renew this lease or whatever? We have gotten ours. We didn't pay for it. It's free. It's a gift.
Yeah. So that's
Okay,
the
I
difference between
understand the
it being
gift.
offered.
Okay, so it's a gift, so don't
Right.
expect to include any clause regarding what should happen after the 50 years are up because it's a gift.
What happens after the 50 years, if you register it and get a lease, you'll get a 50-year lease, so you'll have to renew it. But how it would work, because it's been given, nobody's going to tell you to leave the land because everybody knows you've been given the land. So that's how things work in Africa. It's like you can have family land and no one's going to expect you to leave that land because everybody knows. What I would say, and I think is quite relevant, is a lot of people, for example, if they have no children, or when they go to Africa, they have no children, or they don't do like what some people do, they adopt children there, if you like. If you imagine you have your land, you had it for 50 years, you live on there for 20, 30, 40 years, and then you leave it, and nobody comes to live on there, nobody takes any interest in the land, I think you're going to expect people will just encroach on that land. So as long as you're continue to be interested in your land and the people, your family members or whoever it is you're going to give the land to after you pass on, as long as they're interested in the land, then I guess that protects the land in and of itself. So if you're in your land 50, or whoever's in their land 50 years later, no one's going to come and take that land from you because the land's been given. But if you leave the land, it happens all over Africa, people just leave land and they don't bother with it, I think you can expect encroachment from that land. So that's one thing that you have to be mindful of yourself as well. So Precious, do you have a question?
Yes. My question was, can you build a non-traditional home like a container home or a rammed earth home at PAV? Okay,
thank you. I think now that Nelson Obed, the architect, is on the call. So Nelson was going to do a short presentation and exactly that, Precious, on the different houses that can be built and looking at costs. So now that he's on the call, I'll just ask him to do that short presentation and then he can pick up that question again if necessary. So host, thank you. You're doing a great job. Can you just screen share Nelson's part, please? And we're going to have a part 2 because there's so many questions here. So this is Nelson Obed, the architect. So Nelson, you can just take us through the houses that you've provided.
All right. Good evening to wherever you are. I'm in Ghana, so it's evening here. So quick one. My name is Nelson. I'm an engineer, designer, and then project manager, real estate cost analysis, and also building supervisor. So this is 3-bedroom house, and it's a story building. So if you have it, what it means is if it's 3-bedroom, it has kitchen, it has living room, and then the 3-bedroom all is ensuite, meaning that the washrooms are inside. It has this washroom. So it's about 250 square meter, all the ground floor and the first floor. So basically, when you're estimating it, the cost to build it, to see it looking nice like this, it will be $80,000 to $90,000. That is for this particular building. All right, so this is also 3-bedroom. It's a self-contained house, not storage building, and it has a square meter of 150 square meter, and estimation cost of building it in Ghana here as it is now is going to cost you $55,000 to $75,000 to build. What it means is that I'm saying 55 because that is the lowest you can build, and then the 75 is the maximum, depending on sometimes the interior you want, and sometimes the cost of transporting things to the sites, the machines you are going to bring to do all the construction. So basically, that's why the price are ranged. But if you want everything to be standard, you have everything on site. What it means that this the amount you are going to, the minimum amount you can spend on this building you are seeing is $55,000. All right, so we can move to the next building also. So this is another design. Also, it's very big because it has 260 square meter. It's a 4-bedroom house. And to build this house, it's going to cost you $75,000 to $85,000 to build it. So like I said before, it all depends on the kind of things you want to see. And for the interior, you always see the exterior, you always see it like this. So when you come about the interior, the tile, the plumbing things, you want to see how the electrical, everything, that's how the cost arranged from this side. So everything, the drawing you are seeing is designed by me, actually. And because of my expertise, I have a way of calculating to know how much the building will cost. So when even the quantities of you are quantified, at the end of the day, you end up paying the same amount of money. Yeah, but because I'm a multi-tax person, I'm able to come out with all the prices realistically and practically. So basically, when it happens like that's how much it's going to cost you when you want to have this building. I think I have the last slide then.
Just one moment. Somebody's asking, I think it's relevant. What does self-house mean? Does it mean self-contained? Does it mean self-contained? It says 4-bedroom self-house.
Self-contained.
Exactly. Oh, self-contained. So self-contained means?
Yeah, self-contained means it's a single story like you are seeing. It's not like this type. They are self-contained building. But the next slide you are going to see is a story building. Yeah, this is a story building. But the other one,
self-contained means, what does it mean? Sorry.
Self-contained, what it means is that you are not decking anything on top. You are just putting roof, but you have all the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bungalow, yeah. But in Ghana here, we call it self-contained.
Yeah. So are they en suite?
Yeah.
Are they got the bathrooms?
Yeah, everything is en suite, including every bedroom is en suite, including visitors' washroom. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you.
There's another one, 2-bedroom. I did 2-bedroom, and it's a story house.
Oh, okay.
That one it's all follow the same procedure. It's 2-bedroom. The square meter is, I think, 130 square meter. So that one you have the living room, kitchen, and the visitor washroom all down. Then the 2-bedroom is upstairs. That's what that one the design look like. But like I said, the cost also arranged from a certain amount to a certain amount. So if you want to build it, that's how much it will cost you approximately. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. So, and Angie asked a question just before we get to Precious. Actually, Angie just asked about giving the amount in cedi. So is there a reason why you're giving it in dollars, although we're in Ghana?
Yeah, I can convert them to Ghana cedi for you now, because I thought it's people from different countries. That's why I make it dollars so that everybody will understand. But if you want it in Ghana cedis, I just multiply by the value here per.
It'd just be a straight conversion.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Precious, have you got that question you were going to ask? Just ask that again. Maybe Nelson can answer.
Yes, I wanted to know if you can build a non-traditional home, like a container home or a rammed earth home at PAV.
A container home or?
Or a rammed earth home, like an earth home.
Okay. Yeah, earth home. I think somebody is building that on I don't know if he's on the call actually, he's building that. But yes, please, Nelson, you can answer. Thank you.
Please, can you repeat her question again? Because
she wants to know about building non-traditional homes. So earth bag home and say that again, Precious.
A container home.
A container home. And I think Barry will also chip in that. He's got something to say about that.
So when you talk about container home in Ghana here, probably normally I don't advise because of our condition, the heat condition. So what it means is that if you are going to build it here, it's possible, but you need to have a standby plant so that when it's light off, as we experience it here in Ghana, you need to get the backup plant to produce power for you to cool. And it can also be a fire. You can open your windows. It's always hot in a container house. You get it? So all the time it has to be cool, meaning that your air conditioning has to be on 24/7. That's what it means. So it's possible you can build it in Ghana here, but looking at the sun radiation and our weather, if you want to stay in it, that is the solution. You have to get a backup plant which will work 24 hours. And then you also have to be, yeah, that's it. Basically, that's what it means. You can't say it's a metal something.
Yes. And so after Barry, then there's Kyla and Morris have questions. So Barry, are you going to add something, please?
Okay, Mr. Obed.
Yes, sir.
A lot of these clients from overseas, yeah, they are used to square feet. They are used to square feet. They are not used to square meter. When I tell them square meters, like they're confused. Because in America, my wife is an American. She explained to me that, okay, when we are buying a house, we talk about square feet. So we have a feeling of what 2,000 square feet is, what 100 square feet is. So when you tell them square meters, like, they're not really getting it. You have to convert it and work it for them in square feet.
All right. So because Ghana, we practice based on UK standard. That's our convention. But personally, I understand the square feet and the metric and the imperial method of measurement. So maybe if you want some things to be done for you in feet, I can also convert it in feet for you so that you understand. So
the plots that we're talking about are 80 by 100. So the houses that you've shown us, I can't remember if they were in feet or meters, to be fair, but the houses that you've... Thank you. So the houses that you've shown us, the plots are 80 by 100. So the houses that you've shown us, can they fit on plots of 80 by 100 and have space as well?
Exactly. You have enough space. Some of them, if you want to put even 2 on it, it's possible. 80 by 100 is very big enough.
Okay, thank you.
You have a lot of space in front to do your landscaping you want to do.
Kyla, do you have a question, please?
Yes, I do. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Is it possible to build like off the grid kind of homes where they're self-sustaining with solar panel, so you're not hooked up to the municipal water or electricity?
100% yes.
Okay, that's great to know. And also, is it possible to build like a couple of townhouses on your lot?
Whatever house you want to build on your lot, it's your lot.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, okay. One more question. And I guess you kind of answered with I wanted to know what is the average price for like average interior finishings. What is the average square foot price? I guess you do square meters, but what is the average cost per square foot or square meter with average interior finishings? So if I want like a 4,000 square foot home, what is the average? Yeah, square foot, not square meters, but yeah, square foot. What would the cost per square foot be on average with average interior finishings?
All right, so that comes back to the client taste. You know, some of the clients want expensive things, they want good taste, but some of them want things to be standard. So that one, it varies. It can be per square meter. This is the amount it will cost you. So that is what I can say about that, because every client has its own taste, how he want to see, how he want the building to look inside. So the internal It's not fixed, actually.
Yeah,
that is so
Mm-hmm.
true. That is so true, because if you give a client a price for a standard house, you would thinking about ceramic tile and regular cabinet, regular counter. She would look, she would come and say, oh, I want porcelain tile, oh, I want marble counter, and all that. The marble counter alone, trust me, that's very expensive. Yeah.
Barry and Obed was saying and stuff, because a lot of people, it's kind of, a lot of people look at Africa to be cheap, and it's kind of insulting when you saying Africa is cheap. You're looking at it like it's not at the quality of the US or the UK and stuff. And as they were saying, yeah, it all depends on what you want, the square footage to what you want with your finishings and stuff. So it will never be like a set price. And if somebody gave you a price now, but you're not ready to build until 3 months later, the price is not going to be the same. So we got to take that in consideration. And I tell people, just because you looked at somebody on a video saying, oh, they can give you a 4-bedroom for $35,000, it ain't going to happen. And what kind of house you going to get?
Okay, thank you. Deborah, I've seen your hand, so I'll come to you in a second. But Mykaal, what I wanted to ask, so some of the houses that have been built and finished, what is the finished price of, not the size or the, bedrooms or whatever, or whose house it is, but just an idea of what kind of prices are people paying there?
So the one that I finished with Karen's came up to 150,000 with everything finished.
And that's the White House. It's a lovely house. Yeah, I think she said that as well on her YouTube. So we're not talking her business. And so that one, that's the White House that we saw. So we've been seeing that was 150,000 with everything finished, and it is a beautiful house inside as well. So
and what was the square foot on that one?
Her square feet is 2,000, like 2,000.
2,000 square feet.
Okay, I have one more question. Sorry.
Yeah,
is
go
it
ahead.
possible to get wholesale materials so that people can pool together and be like, okay, we're all gonna kind of go for these kind of materials so that we can get a better price to finish our homes, and then later on you can upgrade whatever on your own, but just to kind of everybody to be able to bring down the price on certain things. And let's say everybody pools for toilets and we all get the same kind of generic toilet, the same kind of backsplash,
Yes.
the same kind of, ceramic tiles in the kitchen, the same kind of, maybe, I don't know what kind of floors, if everybody has ceramic tile floors or if they do hardwood, but,
And who's asking this question? Sorry, who's speaking?
It's Kyla.
It's Kyla. Hi, Kyla. Absolutely,
Yes.
Kyla. I just wanted to make sure who I was talking to, because that's the question of the whole year, so that we can buy things in bulk and then it'd be cheaper for all of us. So I'll hand it over to Mykaal, because I think he was going to say something as well.
No, I said I was going to go ahead and let Barry answer that.
Oh, okay. Go on then, Barry. What have you got to say? This is on the ground experience, people. It's not no textbook thing. Go on, Barry. What are you going to say?
Mykaal.
Yes.
You're not a easy man, you know that. Anyway, as to that question that that lady asked, I will say that is for a contractor who is doing a lot of houses. Yeah. Right now, here, they want to give you discount. And if they tell her okay, one load of sand is for $1,600. I said, oh, 1,600 cities. I said, okay, reduce the price on me. Oh, only the most can come off is 100, if it can come off. Yeah. So it's it is very difficult to get bargains when building one houses. Let's say I am doing an estate. Then I will get a better price because I will buy things in bulk, right? And not everyone have the same taste and want the same finish. Yeah. So not everyone is gonna want the same toilet. You understand? So it all depends on what the clients want. If you are building a scheme or like a community and you are doing it out of your own pocket to sell houses, then it is possible. But outside of that, no, it's not possible.
So what I want to do is ask Nelson Obed, because you've shown us houses which are houses that you've designed. So is your idea that people use these designs of houses with equipment or furnishings that you think are appropriate or suitable, and then to buy it in bulk? Is that what you were getting at for us?
Well, with this, it's a standard building. What it means is that the material are standard. It's not too cheap and it's not too high. It's a medium kind of material. So some things are standard. For instance, buying stone, buying cement, some of the material are standard. But when it comes to the interior, that's where it changes. So normally, if you are building for one person, you go and buy the material for the discount you get will not be much as compared to you are buying a material for 10 people, because the amount of the money, 10 people money combined go higher than one person. So the discount there is something we have to. So one person building one house, it will cost him as compared to the person of building 10 houses you have come together. Because some of the material also can be repeat when you are building on site for 3 people or 4 people, 5 people. Some of the material like wood, you use it one, it's not spoil, you can use it to do other persons. So collectively, you get some discount on cost of buying some of this material back and from. But if you are building it alone, everything you have to buy and do everything. There's nothing like sharing. That's what it means.
Yes, yeah. So what we want to establish as Friends of Asebu Pan African Village really is to have that, something I talked about with Byron Crosdale. I don't think he's on the call at the moment, but it's a passion of his as well, where we do come together as a group and buy and build together and buy in bulk, so that we do get these discounts, because absolutely buying one is going to be more expensive. So it's about us coming together, whether, you know, whichever builder you go through, but that's something that we want to establish at Friends of Asebu Pan African Village. I'm not going to build, obviously I'm going to pass on the work, but it is about us coming together so that we get, you know, we buy in bulk and then we can distribute the materials if that's the case to different builders, and then it'll be cheaper all round for everybody. So Kyla, I think, you know, that is the question of the year. And absolutely, the answer to that question must be yes, because we're always saying as a Black people, we don't buy things in bulk. We always say that, you know. So, you know, let's try and do this thing together. Let's form a consortium, a collaboration, and buy things together and keep the price down. So
the thing with that though is that you would have to have very similar type houses, because you're gonna have to have the same kind of foundation, the same kind of, you know, flooring, the same kind of subflooring. All of that is all going to have to be very similar. So it just depends on who wants to be involved. Exactly. And then everybody can do something similar. Then you know.
Yeah. If people say they want to go and do their own thing, then that's fine. But I think it is something that we can work towards, and it's certainly something that I have in mind. Deborah had a question, although you couldn't put your hand up. I think you said, if you'd like to unmute.
Yeah. Yes. I can't find the put your hands up icon. Well, okay. I have a question for Mykaal and Barry. I just recently bought my 2 plots, and I'm just wondering, trying to get quotes for how much building a wall around both of the plots will cost on average.
All right, listen, I'm gonna be honest with my answer. It all, everybody below all different, and some use more material than some use. I use rods in my wall, right around. My foundations, they go deep. They depending on the soil that I'm in, I will go the lowest. I will go the lowest 1 foot 6 inches, which is 18 inches. That's the lowest, and that is only hard surface. If I am in a soft surface, I will have to go down 2 feet, and I will have to use 10 inches of concrete, because all the walls cracking, and I will also put steel inside of it in the foundation. that probably will cost. Yeah.
Yeah. The blocks, if I wanted like the horizontal, like about 8, I think it's usually 8 blocks horizontally for the wall, isn't it? About 8 on average.
Yeah, eight blocks from where? From in the foundation, from foundation, or from at ground level, because normally you will have 2 blocks down in the foundation, depending, because you don't want your wall to fall down. What I've seen in some of these walls are some huge cracks, and the wall is not yet complete. Yeah, so that stem from the foundation. For me,
okay. So could you give me? I mean, what you've just described sounds great. How much on average would you charge if I was to come to you, for instance?
No, well, that one I wouldn't answer you on the ear because
okay, later
I'll
come to you later. They're volunteering their time. They're not touting for business. I mean,
okay, all right.
but in that regard, Deborah, somebody has asked a question. I'm just trying to go through this as well. Somebody has asked, would we be providing a list of builders and land clearers and architects? That is the plan. And that's why I tried to collaborate and get the people on the ground to come on here, really. That is the plan, that we collaborate together and produce a list that people can, a list that people can use. And also following on from Angie's question, to ensure that as much as we can, that we help to ensure that the due diligence is done as well in terms of the builders who are used. And what I wanted to add, before going to Nelson, Obed Nelson, to answer that from an architect point of view, I wanted to say, well, there are some people in the Pan African Village who don't have walls. Like my house in Uganda, where we built in Uganda, we don't have a wall around the house because we felt that the bricks we could use for the wall, we used for the house instead. And so there are some big houses in the Pan African Village, red finished, people are living in them, and they don't have walls around them. So I just wanted to make the point that some people may say a wall is essential, and they've got a wall and they've got barbed wire and they've got an alarm system, but other people don't have a wall at all. So it's a preference. You don't have to have a wall.
Actually, I think the Pan African Village is quite safe, and it's not a place where, one wants to be so barricaded, so much within a wall.
Yes, absolutely. So, I feel that way because, like our house in Uganda, it's all green around it. So I wonder sometimes, why would I put a wall and I won't be able to see the lovely green space around, so. Right, I'm going to pass to Obed, and then just to answer the question on the wall and the cost and what Barry was saying about the types of surface, the change of the cost, depending on whether the surface is soft or hard. But also before that, somebody asked, are you an architect? I think you are an architect. Yes, he's an architect. So Obed, please.
All right, so let me start from the cost of the fence wall. Basically, it depends on the kind of fence wall you are doing.
Right.
Do you want to do only blocks? Do you want to do blocks with reinforced concrete in it? So, and that is what it means to get the cost. And also it depends on the kind of design, the fence wall design. So basically, these are the 3 factors. If you want to talk about the cost, it affects it because you can't do only block and then you pay for something that is reinforced. And the reason why we do this reinforced inside is that to avoid some cracks and to also to build a fence wall that will stand with the test of time. What it means is that when it rains, there's a flood. When there's a reinforcement in it, it's difficult for the fence wall to crack and also fall down. But if you do block only, you experience cracks. So when you see cracks, what it means is that it will not keep long, your block wall fall, and it will cost you again to build again. So basically, that is depending on how you want to do the construct, the other block only, or you want to do reinforcement And then when it comes about the cost also, it depends whether it's on flat surface or it's a slopy ground. So you also have to consider all those things, because slopy ground and flat ground, when you are building a fence wall, they will not be the same, because slopy, you have to be very careful. Sometimes you have to do a shear wall so that when it rains, it will not pull the fence wall at the side of the slope down. So it varies, but if basically it's on the flat land, and then the land is about 70 by 100. Here we are talking about 80, so 70 by 100 unplastered, meaning that it's not plastered, it's not painted. You are likely to spend 50,000 to 65 or 70,000 just to wall it. And someone was also talking about 8 costs. Normally, is what we see is what we talk about, but what remains in the soil. Remember, after the concrete, there's a block under the foundation. It's covered by the sun on the normal level. So some of the blocks are hidden, which you can see. You only see the one that is appearing on the surface ground. So basically, that is what it means. So you can't say it's an 8 cost, because, and let me also come back to whether you should fence it or not. From Ghana, where I'm speaking from, if you build a house, you don't have fence wall around it, it's very risky. You go to town and come, and thieves, I'll not say armed robbers, thieves have broken down your house, they have taken all your things. Even if you have the fence wall, it's now sounding somehow, people are breaking down all the time. So, and now it's Pan African building. People in the locality would know that, oh, these people, they have money. So maybe you have bought your nice TV or some home theater in the room. The time you go to town and come, it's not there. So for safety reasons, that is why in Ghana, we put fence wall, and then we put gate on it, then the electrical fence around it. And then some people go and extend on having cameras all around the house. So that is what I can say about the fence wall issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And sorry, can you just say what the cost was of the fence? Just the actual cost. Did you say 75,000?
No, that is in Ghana cities.
Yes. So how much is that in dollars or pounds? 75,000. It's going to be divided by 11 for dollars, I think.
Yes, 11.2 Ghana here.
So almost, yeah, almost 75, 77
dollars. So what do we
so
say?
if
The
it's
cost of the
75,
wall fence, to build the wall fence is how much?
So it's about, let's say, $6,700 if you want to build a cost of a fence of 70 by 100.
Okay, $700.
Yes, $6,700.
$6,700 to build a wall fence.
Yeah.
Good grief. Okay.
Well, somebody quoted that amount, that same amount for 2 plots for me. So I don't know. Maybe it depends who you go to. And of course, as Barry said, it depends what kind of wall you want.
and also, when somebody puts that, also, basically the cost here, I have a little challenge because I'm talking from professional point of view. Everything is quality. Everything is standard. The work you're doing is standard. It's not fake. But for instance, in Ghana, the concrete, the normal artisan mix is different from what the professional will mix. So when you test it with a Smith hammer, we have a hammer to test concrete. You will not get the required strength of a concrete. So normally what do you call concrete? I don't call it concrete because it will not read on my machine that it's a concrete.
Yeah, there have been people's walls which have fallen down actually if it's not done correctly.
Exactly. So everything has to be in professional something too. I'm talking from professional point of view. So the person can take anything, and even the mortar meshing ratio. You can decide to give any ratio just to lay more blocks.
But when you say, Nelson, that 6,700, can that be for one plot or two, or is it, if it's two plots, is it times two?
When it's two plots, it will reduce because
so Deborah, it's not times two. So you can still
it's not. Yeah, because one is one plot is square, but one is two plot. There's a middle block. You see, two plot. There's a middle wall that will run in the 100 stretch. That's why it's taken off.
Makes sense.
So you will not. So the same thing when you are building 4 plots, the amount of money, it will not be times 4. It will rather reduce. That's how it is. Because of the techniques in it,
Pauline, I'm going to come to you. I see you had a question, but before I do that, somebody has asked how much are architect drawings. So, Obed, if you could just quickly tell us how much architect drawings are.
Well, like the one you are seeing here in Ghana, normally I give it in a standard price for people. If it's in Ghana city, normally these are standard buildings, so normally I charge around 5,000 Ghana city. So what it means is in dollars is around $450.
And that's to get to tell you what kind of house that we would want, and you're going to draw it out and then tell us how much it's going to cost to build the house.
Yeah, that is the standard cost of producing I'll print 4 copies for you. Then simple houses, basically it doesn't cost much. But if it's a complex building, that one, I think the rate will be revised.
Thank you. So, Pauline, are you still there? Do you have a question? Hi. Sorry we took long to get to you.
It's all right. Thank you, Rachel. Mine isn't about building. It's going back to the question of like ownership or whatever. And I just want to say, obviously, thank you to the chief and citizens for this wonderful gift. But it's a question about legacy and inheritance, because obviously I have children and I have grandchildren. So if we don't own it because it's a gift, how then can it be passed on? Would we then have to purchase?
No, you would also gift it on. You would gift it on.
So it's just a case of legally gifting it on by a solicitor to your descendants.
Yeah, I mean, it's Africa, so I'm going to say it's not even all that strict. If people are living, it becomes kind of like a family home.
Right,
so if people are living in the home and then they continue to live in the home, then no one's going to tell them to leave the home because they'll understand that it was passed on to the parents and the children living in the home.
Right.
So our point of view, yes, we could pass it on in a will, but from an African point of view, it's family land and the family will continue to live in there.
Okay, but it's a lease. That's what I'm getting confused.
It has to be a lease because that's how Ghanaian law operates. But Obed is going to add to that.
Thank you.
All right. So in Ghana, they lease the house, some of the land, 99 years. And the real estate people lease it 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on where, but when you have a house on it, after the 99 years, you are not more in existence. What it means that you by then you have handed the documents to your children. So if you have registered the land, you go to Lands Commission, then they re-register it and give it another lease.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, when the lease is coming from the local community, that's the chiefs. What it means that the chiefs would then come for another lease for you to continue. But if the chief decided to take their land, what it means is that the property you have done on the land, for instance, you have built a house,
mm-hmm.
they will estimate that building cost per the current cost in that year or in that month or something, that particular month. So if it's 100 years, what it means that this price you are talking about it in 2023, it will not affect, it will affect, you estimate it to that 100 years to come. Then they will also value their land up to that level. So whoever, if the chief want to take the land back or the house, what it means is that he has to then pay the house price to your descendants.
Okay.
Then they will take the property from them. But if it's not so, in Africa, in Ghana here, they have not seen the chief doing that. They only come for some small amount of fee to renew it from your descendant.
Yeah.
And basically those in Accra, we normally register our land. So if you have proper title, you just go to lands, then you renew it again. The chiefs will not come in again. That's what I know in Accra. In Quansah, the Otumfo will come and say your lease has ended. You have to come and pay. So they'll push some money, but they will not take the building from you.
Okay. But they can come in any time, or he can only come and do that at the end of the lease?
Sometimes, frankly speaking, there are houses here in Accra. They are past over 100 years. Nobody has come to ask them that. Only in Quansah, in Kajitia, Amakum, I think 3 or 5 years ago, I heard Otumfo has gone to write, or even if it's not houses, it's the stores who are doing business, he has gone to write that their lease has expired. They should come and pay some certain amount to renew their lease. So basically, that's how it is here in Ghana. But this is what I know for now, but I don't know for the next time. They will have a law that when it gets there, it has to be passed on, or for that I can't really tell. But this is what I know about the Ghana lease, when it comes about Ghana lease and the land issue. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you. We've got a few questions I'm going to go to. I just want to say this is not legal advice. So if you need to be so specific and get legal advice, which is perfectly understandable, it's better to go to get a lawyer in Ghana. We can only give you what Obed is saying is what I understand anyway to be the case, but we're not giving legal advice here. Mr. Webb, can we have your question? I think you've got a question.
Yes, I do. I've been hearing something about a registration process even after you get your indenture. Can you kind of explain that?
Once you get your indentures, you still have to go down to land commission to register your land and stuff. In other words, that way your name would be in the system as you being the owner of that area or that plot.
So if you start from, they make the payments into the King's account, and then Mykaal, what happens next in your experience? And then we'll come to the Acquah part.
Okay, so once you get your indentures, to register your land, you're gonna definitely have, which don't come, you have a site plan, but it's not, you need a single site plan to go with that. So you'll have to pay for that yourself to get that in.
So sorry, like step by step. So they put the money into their account, and then the office contacts you, and then what exactly, like? Yeah,
once you get your indentures, before you can register, you're gonna have to get a surveyor to come out and survey your land to get the single site plan, because you're gonna need to put that inside your indenture in order to get it registered.
Right, and your indenture from the office, yeah?
Yes.
Cost of that.
Yeah, so you put your money in, you pay your administration fee, and then the lovely Florence works on your indenture and site plan, and then you get that, and then we go to the registration.
No. Once you get your indentures from her, then you have to get a surveyor to come survey your in order to get the single site plan. You're gonna get a site plan, but that's the site plan of the whole, of the village and stuff. But you need a single site plan that only on your plot. That's what you're gonna need to put inside your indentures. Then you can take it to the land commission.
Right. And has anyone taken theirs to the land commission?
Yes, some people have taken theirs yet, but but right now we're not able to register. The king still working some details out with them in order for us to get to register them. So once that's finished, then they'll be able to go back and complete the registration.
If I might interrupt, what is the cost of that surveying and that registration?
It all depends on the surveyor that's doing it, but from the one that my particular one that I deal with, if it's a single plot, it's 1,200 CDs. If it's 2 plots, it's 1,500 CDs.
How much is that in dollars?
That's about like between like $100 and something.
Then Obed, then, because you're going to talk to us about registration, because from the Pan African Village, that registration hasn't happened yet. So yes, take us through the registration then, as briefly as possible.
All right. So what I know in Accra here is this: you register the land, you get your indenture. When you get your indenture, your site plan on that particular plot is part of the indenture. So you submit the indenture. Then what it means is that you do official search at the land registration, the lands commission. When you do official search, it will come in the person who sold the land to you, whether the chief name. Okay, so when you do that, then when it comes in the chief name, what it means that the land belongs to the person who sold it to you. So now you have the right to register it, but it will attract a certain amount of fee when they are doing the search. So when the search go through and you submit, you want to pay. Now they also will bring valuation officers to come and see the land, whether there is a property or it's a bare land. So normally when it's a bare land, it's normally cheap. But when you have a property on it, they estimate the property also as part of it to bill you of how much you have to pay for the registration. Yeah, that's how it is here. Then they'll give you the final price, then you pay. Then after that, 1 year, they'll publish it in newspaper. Then if nobody comes to contest with you, you have the land registered. That's how it is now.
Excellent. And just before I go to MC and Marcia, can a lawyer help with that whole process? Is it normal for people to get a lawyer to help with the process, or do they normally do it themselves?
No, they do it themselves. They don't need a lawyer.
Oh,
all you have to do is to have your indenture with your site plan. That is the plot of land you are claiming that you want to register. It's part of the indenture. So you submit it. You go to the land there. You submit it. They will tell you, oh, before you can register, let's do search to know who the land belongs to. So the indenture also bear the name of the person who sold the land to you. So when the search confesses the person, the indenture name, what it means is that it's the right person who sold it for you. Now you can register it. So you don't need the, so that's why I said they will only come with the evaluation to come and look at the land where it is. Then after that, they will give you a bill to pay. So when you pay the bill, the process will be done, I think within a month or two. Then they will publish it in the newspaper. Then when they publish in the newspaper, after 1 year, then you nobody come to worry you. It means that the land belongs to you, and nobody can challenge you on that. So when anybody rises against it, now when somebody comes that it belongs to you, you take the person to court. There you engage the lawyer. But if there's no problem, you are done registration.
So with the Pan African Village, really, it's all considered to be the King's land anyway. Right. So Marcia and then MC. So Marcia.
Hello. Greetings.
Greetings.
I just wondered about what the community is like. You know, you showed us a big kind of like area of lots of different plots, and they could be given out to people from lots of different corners of the earth, really. I don't know if it's possible for anybody to say what kind of communities being built around there. What kind of infrastructure is there? Are there shops there? Are there I don't know, yoga studios? Are there like allotments there? What's the kind of how are people from the diaspora living there, and they're living amongst Ghanaians? Does some Ghanaians living there? Is there a
yeah? So I'll just run through that, because at the moment they've given away around 400 plots to a certain number of people, and there are around Barry and Mykaal will correct me, but I would say around 10 or so houses that's being built at the moment, and people living in their houses or regularly in the area of the Pan African Village. So I would say the community has not fully established itself as yet. And as far as I understand it, the land is available to people from all over the world, as long as they're African heritage, being Black. That's what that means. And it can be also Ghanaians and other Africans born in Africa, so continental Africans as well. So the intention of the Paramount Chief is to have a multicultural community, Black community. And that's the idea that's going to happen. The people of Asebu themselves, and Batanya, which is just next door, are lovely people, very welcoming, very warm, know exactly what we're doing there. And they come regularly to, it's the builders that the local people that both Mykaal and Barry use for building, to do building with. So, and they come and sell on the Pan African Village. They interact, they walk around there freely as well. So I think that the people who are living on the Pan African Village and were operating on there already have integrated fine with the local community. And Barry and Mykaal can add to that. Sorry, Martin, you're going to say something else?
Yeah, I just had one other question just around the idea of community. Somebody mentioned before about if you don't have, sometimes if you just have a fence or something, people can broke down your fence and teeth out your things out with your yard. That can happen in sort of like parts of JA as an example, where they know there's lots of returnees. Do they have a kind of, so what they also have in JA quite often is like security guards that have almost like a gated community, but perhaps not as official as that kind of thing. So how do people feel confident that each time they go out and, say their yard's been, the fence has been broke down and people have teethed out their things and they replace it all, how can people feel confident that, that's not going to happen the next time and the next time, and you're just kind of like replacing stuff that people are teething out of?
Yeah, I don't know if Obed, I think you didn't paint a very good picture there, to be fair. Yeah, I walked around.
No, I'm sure it's isolated, but, it can happen.
I don't think it hasn't happened, so I wouldn't say it's isolated in that. It hasn't, because there's very few people on the Pan African Village at the moment. I think, I was going to ask Byron and Mykaal, but as a woman who's been there, walking around there, I feel perfectly safe. I've walked around there in the night, I've walked around there in the day. The local people, it's a small town, so it's not like you're in Acquah, where the experience might be a bit different. It's a small town, people know each other. It isn't a gated community. There isn't a security guard there. I think there could be a police stationed there in the future, but there isn't at the moment. But you do not get the feeling of it not being safe. And the most people who've built there have not got wall fences. I know that Mykaal has a fence, but it's not a closed fence. It doesn't have barbed wire on it. So I think it's how you decide you want to feel safe. I think it's something maybe that came from the British, when you see all the walls and the bars and all those things to keep probably the natives out at the time, and it's just carried on. Because certainly in the UK we don't have those things. There's probably more violent than Ghana, to be fair. But people don't come. So I suppose as people stop having these fences and bars on their windows, it will change the culture of the community, because maybe they feel if you don't have a fence or barbed wire windows or bars on your window, that they can come into your house. They don't do that in the UK. So it's probably a change of culture that we can help with as well. But I don't know, Byron or Barry, sorry, I keep saying Byron, but he's not here. Mykaal or Barry, did you want to add to that? I could be totally off track with them in terms of the safety.
Well, I can tell you, I feel pretty much safe here than anywhere else, not even Jamaica, where I'm from. You don't really find people come and break down your place like that, no. The reason for me to build a wall. Yeah. Establish boundaries and making sure that, you know, your property is your property. Someone not mistakenly build on your property or step over boundary. Yeah, I will not have an eye wall because I'm building a beautiful house. It's gonna be beautiful when it's done, and I'm not hiding it. I want the world to see it when they pass by. So I won't have an eye wall, just a very short one.
Real safe, I mean, safe to the point that children, they be far from their village and stuff, and walking around, you know, here and there and stuff. Like Rachel say, walking around at night, it's no issue at all. I mean, it's very peaceful. If you get a chance to go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the things that I talk about and just how peaceful it is and stuff. I mean, to give you a you know, it makes you kind of it make you kind of feel guilty that you're here and everybody else, you know, dealing with all the mess in the US and the UK and stuff. But that's just how peaceful that it is and stuff.
Yes, thank you. So it's Charles having is right. And
Okay.
Barry's is building with Barry.
It's building with Barry - teamwork construction.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go to MC and then finish with Dorsey, who just put their hand up. So MC.
Thank you, Rachel. So greetings, fam. I'm MC, and I'm actually representing the Canadian contingent here. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we got some I know I'm Canadian and I'm here. So my question is, and I'm just going to keep this simple and short because we're at the end, right? But it goes back to the housing. My question is, approximately how long does it take, like, to have your house built? Can I get an answer on that?
Barry or Mykaal, would you like to?
You know what happened? A house can build as fast as you come up with your money. It all depends on how long you want to keep. Some people don't have the money, so they can't afford to buy the material, so it will keep them some time. Yeah? If you have your money, then in 6 to 8 months, you should have, depending on the size house you're building. Yeah? Okay. You're building a 3-bedroom, 6 to 8 months, you're complete.
Thank you.
Mykaal, like to add to
Yeah,
that?
just like what Barry said. And the only other thing that will slow it down if you started your house during the rainy season. That's the only thing that will slow it up.
Yeah. Which is I know it's June.
June and July.
Yeah.
And the thing about the rainy season, it's not all that bad. As long as you can get material to your land, then you're okay. You can build just the very same because rain don't fall every day. No.
Right. And so, Obed, can you just add to that, particularly about building in the rain as an architect?
Well, where I know Pan Africa land, when it even rains, the land is okay because it's a laterite. Laterite means sandstone kind of land, so car can move. So far as car can move, material can be transported and people can work because in Ghana, it doesn't rain even more than 4, 5, 6 hours. So workers, when it's raining, workers can stop. After that, they can come and continue. So they'll have a normal day. So that is one thing. But in Accra here, some land are very muddy. When it rains, car cannot go there. But if you can also build when you have a material on site. So the most important thing is you have all your materials on site. You only need workers to work. And when it rains, they can stop 2 hours, 3 hours. They can go and continue after us. That's what I want to say about that.
Brilliant, thank you. I've seen Barry on his channel. You can see him, he's building in the rain. So I've seen that. Right,
yes.
There's Dorsey, I think we'll end with Dorsey, the question, and then we'll just we'll end with the last question, and we'll just come together, any other business and any final words from the speakers. So Dorsey, please.
Thank you, Rachel. Hi, this is Dorsey. I'm calling from the United States, Charleston, South Carolina. And my question is, thank you. Possibly Mykaal can advise me, because I thought I heard that the price was increased to $1,500. I wanted to confirm that. And also my question, a follow-up on an earlier question in reference to infrastructure and streets. What's there? Where are we in that process?
Okay, so I'll pass to Mykaal in a sec, but the price hasn't gone up. There are other lands around Asebu which are being sold, and I think that may be what you're referring to. But the Pan African Village is what we're talking about here. So the price hasn't gone up, it's 1,200. And
Thank
then, so I've taken that from Mykaal. But Mykaal, do you want to talk about the roads, the infrastructure in the Pan African Village?
Yes, the roads, we're still working as far as the roads. We're still working, trying to get that together as far as the roads have to be done as a whole, as a community. Because like Rachel was saying earlier, we have to construct together as a community to build the infrastructure. So, you know, as we can get in contact with more people, then we that's how we're able to continue to do the infrastructure.
Thank you. What I would say though, Africa roads are African roads. So, you know, don't hold your breath maybe for the Pan African Village. we try and do our best, I guess. But in terms of other infrastructure, there's electricity in part of phase 1. I believe it's in part of phase 1. And you get water from the borehole, for example. I know that Mykaal has it really organized where he has the generator, you've got the electricity that the king has provided there. Obviously, he's got to pay the bills. He's got the generator there, and he's got a solar power as well. And also another panel, solar panel, which heats up the water as well. So he's done his place really, really good. So that, I mean, that's Africa for you. You know, you have to make your area, your home as best you can. I think the infrastructure comes later, and maybe infrastructure is not what we necessarily go to Africa for. So that's just to make sure people are not disappointed when they get there.
Yeah, so let me talk a bit about pipe-borne water.
Oh, Ben, I didn't know you were there.
Yeah, I've been here.
Oh, you should have spoke sooner.
Yeah. So,
yes, please, go on. Excuse me, everybody. Okay, this is Obed, who is the operation director of the Pan African Village. So he is part of the administration team, and I had no idea he was there. Otherwise, I would have brought him in sooner. Yes, please, Obed, take it away.
Yes, because I wanted to follow proceedings and really understand what is happening.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So, with respect to pipe-borne water, we've made arrangements for that as well, so that apart from the borehole, which individuals would have in their various homes, everybody can have access to pipe-borne water, such that water wouldn't be a problem at all. There was plan to get phase 1 into this, but later I met with Nana, and we have agreed to include all other facets of the project onto the pipe-borne water. So he will be coming around next week, Wednesday. When he comes, I am meeting him. We are meeting the Ghana Water Company manager in Cape Coast.
This is when you're meeting the paramount chief you're referring to?
Yes. Mm-hmm. The paramount chief will be coming on Wednesday. So when he comes around, he's already called me that when he comes around, we have to leave for Cape Coast to meet with the manager for Ghana Water Company Limited to ensure that there's access to pipe-borne water as well. So this is a bit of information I want to pass across.
Yeah, so access to pipe water. And then anything else about the infrastructure that you can add? Electricity or the roads?
Yes, electricity, as you are aware, part of phase 1 has access to electricity. We decided to get the electricity done in phases. So phase 1, the plan is to move to the phase 2 and the other phases as well. So when it comes this week as well, I will sit with him to see how best we can extend electricity to the other phases as well. So that's going to be part of the discussions we will have when it comes.
Brilliant. And somebody just put a question as well. Will there be adequate drainage to deal with heavy rains? I think that's Obed as well.
Yes, these are purely engineering stuff that I must be honest with you, we haven't really done that for now. So I believe as time goes on, collectively, we shall see how to get some of these things done. Because we need to talk about that. We need to talk about waste management and a couple of things all over the place. So these are purely engineering stuff that we haven't tackled yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's understandable. And that's why, you know, Friends of the Asebu Pan African Village, so we can do these regular Q&As and be updating people who are genuinely interested and want more information, either to make a decision or they may have got a plot already and they're still trying to work things through. So these are all the things, and also working there with the Plot Holders Association, because I'm really pleased that Mykaal has come on as well. Now, one thing I want to say though is when people ask about infrastructure, the Pan African Village is in Ghana, obviously. So Ghana doesn't have a great infrastructure. It's not, you're not going to go there for infrastructure. So the Pan African Village, I think, is not really going to be separated from that, and why would we want it to be? We necessarily wouldn't want to be in a community where the people locally haven't got this great infrastructure, and then we go in as an outside community and we have this wonderful infrastructure and we're leaving everybody else behind. So I think it's all about taking time and not expecting the infrastructure to come along anytime soon, is what I'm going to say. We're going to end. I thank everybody for coming. I just want to give some final words to the people who've kindly given up their Sunday afternoon. I really, really appreciate it. Obed, Nelson, Barry, and Mykaal. Just to say a few words, I'm going to go to Barry first, Mykaal, Obed, and then to Obed, the administrator, to finish off. Barry, can you just give a few words, last words?
Well, my few last words will be, Ghana is home, Africa is home, so I would tell everyone, come and see Africa, see if you fit in before you decide, so, okay, I'm going to come, or I'm going to settle. Because, to be honest with you, it's like you have to have a calling to be here and know your purpose of being here. But otherwise, here is lovely, nice, all right. I find the people very welcoming, very soft-spoken, and yeah, they're very nice. I would say, come, give Ghana a try, yeah?
Brilliant, thank you. And Mykaal?
Yes. Final words is don't be afraid. I tell people just not only go by the video or our testimony. We can tell you how good it is, but the only way you can really find out is put boots on the ground. Come see it for yourself. Because we're enjoying it. But like it's been said, you have to come and experience it yourself and get your own feeling for it.
Brilliant. I'm going to break protocol and as a host and ask Angie. Angie, can you just jump in as well and give us your experience briefly of what you'd say, some final words? Because Angie lives in Ghana as well. Angie is wonderful. I can't tell you how wonderful she is because I don't have the time.
I've just put a message in the chat saying, forget the West, Africa is the best. Rick.
Thank you.
You want to be here, don't you?
Yes, we want to be there. Thank you very much.
I must say to everybody, please come just to see. You don't have to come and live, just to see what it's like, just to, have a taste. But please, before you do anything, speak to those who have been living here for quite some time. That's all I'm.
Thank you.
For a trip, it's great. It's fantastic. It's rainy season now, but the sun, after the rain, the sun does come out. But it's been wonderful. Thank you very much, Rachel, and everybody else for.
Yeah, thank you. And Obed Nelson.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. So basically, what I want to say is, like my colleagues here have said, Ghana is peaceful. Even in Accra, it's peaceful. Wherever you move, you go out. Nobody asks you the question. You just go and come. You have the liberty, freedom to do whatever you want to do. You stay in your house. Nobody come to.
I think you're cutting up a bit. I think Obed was telling us how wonderful Ghana is, and he's done a great job of selling Ghana to us and the architecture information that he's given us as well. So Obed, Operations Director, can I hand it over to you to say some final words, please?
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a great meeting. that I have really enjoyed from behind. I've listened to every conversation and everything went on very well. I remember the first day I met with Mykaal when he came to my office for his application and everything. Little did I know, very soon Mykaal is going to be a chief. He's now a Nana. It tells you how wonderful Ghana is. So to you out there, I beseech you to come to Ghana quickly, because very soon you are also going to be a chief and you'll be in charge of some group of people. I mean, this is a peaceful project. Everybody here is really enjoying himself or herself. And I know when you come, you are also really going to enjoy it. I wish you all very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're going to have other Q&As. I just want to remind people our website is asebupav.com, asebupav.com. And we've got a few things that a few services there. And also we've got more information about the trip. There's also the Plot Holders Association, which you can go to there. They have like a membership thing going on, so you can always join and keep in touch with them. Then we've got Barry, Building with Barry Team Construction, and the link is in the messages for Barry's YouTube channel. And then also we have Mykaal's YouTube channel, which is the Traveling Israelite channel. So do stay in touch with all of us. Certainly you can reach out to me, and as we try to put this thing together, as we try to all of us come together to make this Pan-African Village a success, do definitely keep in touch. And if you want to get your plots, please don't tell me, because I don't deal with allocating the plots. So you can go to our website, and then it says about the free land offer, but it will take you straight through to the King's website, which is asebuman.com. So you can go through us or go there, and you need to make the payment through the King's website. And then you can let me know and we can chase it up for you. But in terms of the plot allocation, I don't take any money for that at all. So that's nothing to do with us. Right, Obed, can you put your details in the chat? We did share them earlier.
Yeah, so I'm putting my number and my email.
Yes, so Pauline, it's 80 by 100 feet, it's not in meters, and it's $1,200. But yeah, you can come through us if you want, and then we can contact Obed for you, okay? Just to keep the system in place. There you go, he's given his email as well. All right, so will there be a Q&A with those traveling? Yes, if you are going to Ghana with us in October, please stay on the call. We're going to have a Q&A, answer questions. And everybody else, thank you so much for coming and joining us. It's wonderful being with you this Sunday. And the people going to Ghana, you can stay on and we can just have a chat about what we can expect and what's coming up. So to everybody else, bye and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Evening.
Take care.
Bye.